Oh, this coffee's kind of gross.
Let's get it.
No lives matter.
This is I like that he drops this stuff on Friday.
Yeah, it's like a tradition.
Yeah.
It's like Happy Friday.
And it's good to kind of get away from all this shit that's happening in the election.
You know,
I feel like my fucking face is just glued onto fucking what's going on.
all of us.
Yeah. So this is an interesting title, No Lives Matter.
I haven't heard this one before. You've heard like the Black Lives Matter. You've heard like All Lives Matter.
Yeah. See what he got. It's always interesting to see what he has to say.
Right? I want to know like what his take on
Yeah, I was about to say that.
is with this topic.
Hip-hop diet is full of guys who cannot even rap. Media dividing us by colors, white or black. If you believe in Jesus, these days Christians get attacked. If you don't hate police, then everybody thinks you're whack. And everything's so
Yeah, I love the topics. They're so true. Like, especially the media. I like how he talks about the media a lot because, like, depending, and we just spoke about this the other day, depending on what you watch, the narrative changes. You watch mainstream media, you're automatically, like, anti-Trump. And if you watch, like, alternative media, which is, like, more conservative, you're almost going to be, like, pro-Trump. So depending on what you watch, like, it's going to sway what you actually think. So I really think there needs to be, like, a neutral media where they're not trying to dictate a narrative. They're just telling you both sides of the story, and then they're not putting in what they think. And all these fucking mainstream medias, they're putting in their opinion and their views, which is gonna sway what you think as well.
Yeah, I mean, although we can't control what they put out in media, I think what we can control is like how we see the media. So like as long as we know that each media company covers like one side, we should keep that in mind.
Yeah. That's why I think it's important to kind of just like look at everything. Like for me, like I look at the mainstream media, I look at the alternative media. So like I try to get different views, different opinions, and I kind of make my decision based on everything that I see. And even the fact with like Christians, like conservatives are often looked at like it's actually pretty weird. I think like people that are like anti-abortion, for instance, is what I think about. Like, or people that are like pro-life. They're looked at like where they're actually taking away people's right to an abortion, and I can understand that perception. But at the same time, I can also understand why they would be against abortions. So I guess it depends on like I just feel like you shouldn't be demonized regardless of what you think, where it's almost like when you're pro-life, you're almost looked at like you're taking away someone's choice.
Or like if you're pro-life, you're automatically a Republican.
Right. I feel like we're talking a lot. Let's get it.
attack. If you don't hate police, then everybody thinks you're whack. And everything's so connected. Black Lives Matter got so aggressive. White folks who agree can't support the message. Both sides go to war because they don't respect it. Our social climate from the global tension turned to total violence and a whole depression. We could unify and then I'll go against them, but we let them divide us with votes and elections. Hey, the music we bump, all about shooting.
Yeah, I just like this a lot. And like...
Like, not just like what he's talking about, but like I love the way that this song sounds.
Yeah. I love the message a lot because it's like he's shedding light on that divide and conquer strategy. It's one of the oldest strategies. Like if anyone's ever read like The Art of War or any good general like Napoleon, like it's a very common strategy, divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm. You hear that everywhere, like even in the workplace.
Right.
Against them, but we let them divide us with votes and elections. Hey, the music we bump, all about shooting guns and doing drugs. Hey, whoa, the things that we want are promoted subliminally through the songs. Like, you need a fast car, you need designer clothes, you need a rap star to tell you to start popping pills, hit the blunt, and go live at the club till you're broke.
It's actually ironic because he's always like Gucci'd up.
Yeah, and I like I said the same thing when I heard "Expensive." Remember that song "Expensive"? Was that Ty Dolla $ign, right? And like the whole time I was just like, yo, you're really gonna make an entire song about how much you spend on your girl? Mm-hmm. Like it was kind of crazy to me that was like a trending song. It was nuts.
Are promoted subliminally through the songs like, you need a fast car, you need designer clothes, you need a rap star to tell you to start popping pills, hit the blunt and go live at the club till you're broke. It's all controlled by the elites, put fake news all over our screens, convincing the right to go fight with the left and distract from the fact it's each other we need. Divided by race and religion, segregated into teams. You a white supremacist. If you're not, I guess you Antifa. Screaming from the rooftops, beat down better. Turn us on each other now, no lives matter. If we do what the news wants, blood gon' splatter. Turn us on each other till no lives matter. Freedom's dead. If you have an opinion, take it back. People hate the president. If you don't, then you trash. Indoctrinate the nation using news and mainstream rap. The government abuses us. It's all part of the plan. And it's so confusing. Black Lives Matter is a valuable movement, but all lives matter ain't racist or stupid. It's non-black humans who don't feel included. All colors fall under laws to govern the whole country, and we all suffer. We're all broke and nobody recovers until we accept that we're all brothers. Hey, the music we make.
Yo, I could literally, like, I have so much to say, but I'm not going to take away from, like, the song, because there's so much that he covers.
Yeah, and, like, I already know that this is one of those songs, like, we are going to want to listen to, like, 10 times over, just because he's touching on a lot of neutral points, I think. Because I love that he's not, you know, he's not trying to promote his views,
right?
Regardless of what it is. Like, he's really trying to make you realize, like, you need each other. Like, stop fighting with each other. Like, focus on, you know, what we can do to really make this country better.
Right. No, he's absolutely. I was gonna say exactly what you said, where he's coming from a very neutral standpoint. That's why I said the media has to come from that same standpoint.
Yep.
Because when you could come from a neutral standpoint, it keeps, I think, in my opinion, it keeps you open-minded when you're neutral. Because you're looking at this side, the left, you're looking at the right, and then you can potentially incorporate both ideas and then, like, come to some type of compromise. Like,
and I think that's what politics should be. That's why we have the right side and the left side, so that they both can sit down and really agree on the same issues.
Right. And I think just like any other business dealer or team of entrepreneurs, like there's always going to be different opinions. But I think when you have different opinions, it's when you could find that common ground.
Yeah.
And then, make it work. But obviously you have to be receptive to new ideas also.
Yeah.
Confusing. Black Lives Matter is a valuable movement, but all lives matter ain't racist or stupid. It's non-black humans who don't feel included. All colors fall under laws to govern the whole country, and we all suffer. We're all broke and nobody recovers until we accept that we're all brothers. Hey, the music we make, all about big booties and getting paid. Hey, whoa. We watch the news and it fills up our brains with violence and riots and race. Like, this is a race war. You need to hate more. Get what you came for. You need some songs about Xanax and violence so you can escape more. What a vicious cycle we can't break away from. They control the culture, they control the paper. They're indoctrinating a whole generation till the patriots start to hate the nation. The music we love make us dumb and
until the patriots start to hate the nation. And that's so fucking true.
Yo, I've actually never heard that being said before, so I love that he said that.
Yeah. No, it's such a great point, because then you could kind of, like, for me, like, I grew up having issues with law enforcement and cops. But as I get older and I'm a little bit more open-minded, I can also see the perspective of, like, trying to put yourself in a cop's shoes, right? Like, and trying to actually understand why they're also upset. Also understanding why civilians are upset, understanding why cops are upset, understanding the different perspectives of, like, conservatives and then liberals. And you could understand why there's frustration on both sides. But just what he said there, like, patriots start to hate the nation, is so fucking true. Mm-hmm. Because you see these conservatives, like, literally, like, their perception is like them trying to hold what we stand for, right? And the liberals have this perception of, like, let's change it for the better, like being more progressive. But at the same time, like, I think it could potentially be a little extreme on both sides, and that's why that common ground has to be found.
you can escape more. What a vicious cycle we can't break away from. They control the culture, they control the paper. They're indoctrinating a whole generation till the patriots start to hate the nation. The music we love make us dumb and addicted. The news that we watch is brainwashing the children. The viruses, riots, and racist conditions ain't problems, they're symptoms of life in the system. Screaming from the rooftops, beat down better. Turn us on each other now, no lives matter. If we do what the news wants, blood gon' splatter. Turn us on each other till no lives matter. The music will make you dumb, the media makes you hate, and they control them both. There ain't no escape. They put the world in a state of chaos, economy crashing and massive layoffs. Black against white, or it's left versus right. Divide and conquer, and control is to pay all.
Divide and conquer.
And I also love how he connects the economy with like layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're connected. And I love that he used his hands to like really draw that picture of like a scale almost.
Yeah, the imbalance.
Yeah.
And how things actually balance out. And that's what I think also people need to understand, like a little off topic, but like is why people have to understand taxes. When Biden's like, oh, we're only going to tax the rich. There's an imbalance there. When they're overly taxed, that trickles down to people that are poor. Like they don't understand that when you work for a business that's starting to pay a massive amount of taxes, what do you think they're going to do? The first people they cut are employees. So essentially you're either getting a cut in salary or you lose your job entirely because their taxes were raised, but people kind of like put themselves in one category, in one side of the spectrum, like, oh, rich, if you're poor, rich is bad. If you're rich, like you need middle class and poor people to help you build your wealth, so it's that, like, it's all integrated.
Yeah.
And I like that he actually touches on that a bit, where he's like, the layoffs and
the economy.
Else? Right.
Yeah, that's why I think like before you even choose a side, like that's why like it's really hard for me to really be part of this whole political movement, because like I'm always gonna look at it as an outsider. So like it's hard for me to pick a side.
Right.
And so I think what he's touching on is this idea of like you shouldn't have to pick a side.
And I mean, not even that for me. It's like, even if you pick a side, like what happened to picking a side and actually being able to have a conversation with someone on the other side? Like, I think that's where like the problem really is. It's not about being on one side or the other. We're going to have different beliefs. You're going to have different religions, different political views. That's fine. But like, you have to be able to sit down with someone that has opposing beliefs. If you can't even do that, then you're just completely closed off. And I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah, that's true.
Gonna make you dumb, the media makes you hate, and they control them both. There ain't no escape. They put the world in a state of chaos, economy crashing and massive layoffs. Black against white, or it's left versus right. Divide and conquer, and control is to pay all. Screaming from the rooftops, beat down better. Turn us on each other now, no lives matter. If we do what the news wants, blood gon' splatter. Turn us on each other till no lives matter.
Another really amazing message by Tom. Always love his videos for like his messages in particular. Like I love his messages. And it's why I'll always be a Tom MacDonald supporter, and just really trying to like use his platform to like spread awareness of what's actually going on.
Yeah. I was gonna say like, and I love that he made this song such a nice sounding song. Like I like the sound of this song.
Yeah.
And so like I think it's gonna get spread all over just because it sounds good too. And then finally when people listen to it and actually listen to what he's saying, they're actually gonna, think and question.
And that's important because like I've listened to a bunch of like these songs that have come out during COVID, and like a lot of the songs, and I'm not going to really drop the name of some of the songs, but like a lot of the songs, they kind of enforce that belief of like you should be rioting. And that's kind of what the message is in some of the songs that I've heard during quarantine, where it's like you should be rioting, you should be against it. Like and I think unfortunately, like a lot of musicians are used to promote certain agendas, unfortunately, but that's just what it is.
Yeah.
But I think this was a really good song. Definitely something to talk about and something to share.
I think he did a great job summarizing all the issues we've faced in 2020. Like he hit COVID, he hit the election, he hit the divide between black and white.
The BLM movement.
Yeah.
And he did it in 3 minutes and 12 seconds, which is really good to be able to cover that many topics.
And like if you think about like all the songs he's put out, like even in the last season, right? So he put out Cancer, he put out People So Stupid, like it takes a lot of time to even get your thought outs, right? And to like get it out in a way that's like artistic and short enough where it's like not rambling.
Yeah. I mean, what's funny? Like, I think like I'm thinking from like 5 years from now, like I really believe that he's going to get to a point where he's going to have to hire security because his messages are very, it's very eye-opening. And I believe like the government doesn't want certain topics to be talked about,
Can you imagine a massive amount of people just thinking like this?
Right. Exactly. That's a problem.
Or even like retracting from the media.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine like if people just stopped watching the news and actually thought on their own?
Yeah. And that's the problem because they have so much control over like not just mainstream media. They're slowly moving into Twitter, Facebook, which they've already owned those platforms, but now that they're really trying to control that as well. So now like for me, like I watch my news on YouTube. So fortunately, there's a lot of like independent outlets on YouTube. So it's either like neutral or you just get a different side of the conversation. So hopefully they don't start to, kick people off of YouTube and try to shift more towards like controlling that platform like they've done with mainstream media.
Because like our country is built on freedom of speech.
Yeah, it's not so free anymore.